we did a number of things. First of all, we engaged in serious political lobbying of parliamentarians that we thought would be sympathetic to what we're doing, and all members of the All-Party Justice Committee. We put together legal submissions, so we did have our arguments correct on the unconstitutionality of the law and the inadvisability of the law. We also held public meetings around the country to raise public awareness about the issue. And we sought and got international support from Atheist Ireland International, from Richard Dawkins, from P.C. Myers, from various people who helped to bring the issue to the international stage and helped to prevent the Irish government from being able to just deal with it internally. As well as that, because it's a silly law, we felt it was important to highlight the silliness of it. So we founded a new religion. The Justice Minister is called Dermot Ahern, so we founded a religion called the Church of Dermotology. Now, the Church of Dermatology worships Dermot Ahern, and we call for blasphemy cases whenever anything is said against him. Our beliefs are kind of based on mainstream religious belief, nothing unusual. We believe that Dermot Ahern created the world out of nothing. We believe that ice cream wafers are literally the body of Dermot Ahern. And like the Mormons, we have magic underpants. We also have a personality test for people who want to join. It's quite a simple personality test. There's 2 questions. Number 1, are you vulnerable? Number 2, have you money? Get the answers to both those right, and you're in. We have a Facebook page. We've over 1,000 members of the Church of Dermatology now. We're bigger than the Baha'is in Ireland. We're no longer the smallest. And Senator David Norris, who had mentioned earlier, the campaigner for gay rights, who got the homosexuality law changed in Ireland, during the Senate debate on it, David read into the Senate record the beliefs of the Church of Dermatology and welcomed me as the Prophet Michael Nugent to the visitors gallery. So in future centuries, historians are going to be looking back over the records of the Irish Senate and wondering what this religion was. But anyway, despite that, the Irish government did pass the law. They passed the blasphemy law. Typical brazening it out attitude. And what we did in response to that was, on the day that it became operational, which was the 1st of January of this year, we published on our website a series of 25 blasphemous quotes to just demonstrably challenge the law on the day that it became operational. We said there were 2 things were going to happen. Either we would be prosecuted, in which case we would challenge the constitutionality of the law, or we wouldn't be prosecuted, in which case it strengthened the argument politically for the repeal of the law on the basis that if you have laws that are being ignored and not being implemented, then they have no place on the statute book. We included in the quotes, as well as quotes from the likes of Richard Dawkins and PZ, we included quotes from other famous blasphemers in history, like Jesus Christ, who was, of course, one of the first people in fiction to be charged with blasphemy, and Muhammad, who made blasphemous statements about Christians. And the point we were trying to make there is that whatever the theoretical validity of a blasphemy law in a state where there is only one religion, it just doesn't even make internal sense to have a law against blasphemy in a country where there's more religions, because one religion's sacred beliefs are blasphemous to another religion's sacred beliefs. We also included that famous quote by George Carlin about Jesus, about how God has this set of 10 rules that he wants you to keep, and that if you don't keep them, you'll be sent to a fiery pit where you will burn for eternity without cessation. But he loves you. And he needs money. He always needs money. He's pretty good on the omniscience, pretty good on the omnipotence, but somehow hasn't got the hang of money yet. Another quote that we included was from the Irish Justice Minister, Dermot Ahern, peace be upon him, who during the Oireachtas debate on the issue joked at a committee meeting that he was as pure as the baby Jesus. So here we have a Justice Minister at a Justice Committee meeting trying to pass a blasphemy law and making blasphemous jokes that would be illegal if his law was passed. Now, the government reacted fairly dismissively to our 25 quotes. In fact, the Justice Department issued an official statement, which is quite extraordinary really in terms of responding to an advocacy group, saying that the minister didn't have time to listen to some crackpot sitting in an attic somewhere, and that atheists should put their laptops down for a while and go out for a walk in the fresh air. Actual official statement issued by the Irish Justice Department. We continued the campaign. There were a couple of art galleries that organised blasphemous art exhibitions that we helped to support and promote. There was a member of our organisation who did a walk from one end of the country to another over a period of 25 days to highlight the issue generally and try to find people, to interview people on the way to get viewpoints for campaigning against the law. He found, didn't find anybody, didn't find one person along the way that supported the idea of a blasphemy law. He thought he had found one person at one stage, and he said, great, and got the camera out and said, can we talk to you about it? And he said, why do you support a law against blasphemy? And the guy replied, well, because I don't think it's right for someone to have two wives. So, kind of patiently explained to him the difference between blasphemy and bigamy. And then he said, oh right, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't agree with that. So still nobody is supporting the blasphemy law in Ireland. Now in the interim we had been campaigning at European level as well. The Fianna Fáil, for some strange reason, are partners of the European Liberal group in the European Parliament. So we were lobbying their fellow European Liberal group members around Europe and asking them to ask their Irish so-called Liberal partners whether they're passing blasphemy laws in the 21st century. So we now have a commitment to a referendum. In theory, it could happen later this year. There's a number of referendums that are due to be held simultaneously, one on the rights of children. There are a couple of other ones. Now there is a slight danger that we just noticed. Literally last weekend, one of the people who runs the committees that is calling for the children's rights referendum is arguing that their referendum is too important to be run simultaneously with other ones, and they want it run alone, and Dermot Ahern was quoted as saying that they might be right. So I don't know whether he's trying to get off, but he doesn't seem, in fairness, he doesn't seem to be trying to get off the hook of holding the referendum, but he may be readying the ground to delay the referendum. But one way or another, however long it takes, I'm optimistic that we will succeed in this, and that we will then be able to move on to the other aspects of our campaigns for a secular ethical society generally, in terms of removing the other anomalous clauses from our constitution and also campaigning for a secular education system. There are two main priorities.